Velkommen til 22 nyhederne på denne kolde vinterdag. Boeing er i dag kommet ud med et nyt regnskab. Her møder vi en testpilot fra Boeing, som tester flyene. Han vil her fortælle om, hvordan året er gået.
A lot of people ask me how I became a test pilot. I know in my case, I remember delivering a lot of newspapers as a youngster, and while delivering newspapers, there's a lot of time to think. I spent a lot of that time thinking about what would it be like to fly airplanes, specifically to be a test pilot. I had no idea what it would be, what it would mean, what it would take to become a test pilot, but I knew that a good place to start was likely the military, and I wound up pursuing and receiving a scholarship from the Navy to go to college and then proceed through flight school, fly in a squadron, and then go to test pilot school, which is a very typical career path for test pilots, at least of my peers. And after that, it was a matter of, after retiring from the Navy, having the opportunity to come to the Boeing company in Seattle and participate in the commercial airplane programs. Much of my job isn't the classic stick and rudder idea that's often associated with test pilots. Most of my job actually is in meetings, in very sophisticated simulators like this one, and then ultimately in the test programs in the real airplane. And then, of course, when we've certified an airplane, the real work of attending to the customer's needs on an ongoing basis becomes front and center a part of our job. Some of the attributes I think that make a good test pilot are the ideas of being methodical, observant, dispassionate. Of course, we all want the program to succeed, but first and foremost, we have to make sure that the airplane behaves as required. The thing that separates test pilots from other pilots isn't that we fly any better or differently than other professional pilots, but it's the very bounded, measured approach we take to executing the plan. All pilots take a bounded, measured approach to executing a safe flight plan. We just take smaller steps because we know some of the risks are somewhat larger on the earliest flights of an airplane. I consider myself exceptionally lucky to wind up being associated with the 747. It's obviously an iconic airplane. It's one of the greatest airplanes the Boeing company has ever built, and we're extending its legacy in some very, very positive ways. The airplane is more efficient.
Boeing har netop offentliggjort deres nyeste raketopfindelser, som lige nu er ved at blive testet, og vi har en rapporter på stedet i Ukraine.
Это жесть, градом они забили так.
Ой-ой-ой-ой, полетело, лянь, лянь, все, лянь, взрывает все. Надоест.
Слушай.
Алло, градом. Все, бомбят.
Только что видели, блядь.
Да пацаны, тихо. Опа!
Kriminaliteten i Chicago er stærkt stigende. Vi har derfor valgt at sætte rapporter ud for at se den seneste udvikling i kriminaliteten i Chicago.
Sean's case should be simple. He was shot in public in front of witnesses, as in many of Chicago's homicides. but many witnesses are too scared to come forward, and they don't trust the police. Only 25% of murders here are solved. High-profile cases of police brutality have made things worse. This means the role of community violence prevention workers is key.
We got more killings right now and shootings.
Danye Smith works for a city agency called Ceasefire, Lee's former employer. After funding cuts, Danye's now the only violence interrupter in Englewood, a neighborhood notorious for shootings.
Yeah, so what's going on around here then at the moment? Why can't we get out the car?
Because it's a war zone. We got like a 30, 40 block radius of guys killing each other every day, like killing each other. These are where majority of the murders happen.
Like Lee, Danye used to be a gang member. Now he's trying to keep the neighborhood safe.
It's very dangerous for kids going to and from school. This is my nieces right here walking home.
Hey. How's it going? Squeeze in. How was school?
Good.
Yeah? You learn a lot?
Yes.
Good. So how many blocks is it from school to home?
I'll say about 4.
4 blocks. Not that far. Yeah, well, Daniel didn't want to see you out on the streets. Do you ever feel like you could end up getting hit by a stray bullet or something?
Yeah. All you have to do just stop and duck.
Yeah. Stop and duck.
Yeah.
Is that what they teach you? Stop and duck. Wow. They're sweet little girls, but God, drop and duck is not the kind of advice you'd expect them to have to learn at school.